Welcome back to the Warner's Kitchen. So girls, what are we going to make today?
Crackers.
Crackers, that's right, crackers. Most of you maybe have not made crackers, but they're delicious. So we're going to make them today. And girls, what is the first step?
Mixing the dough.
We're going to mix the dough. So take Peppy over here and we'll just mix it up. It's a very simple recipe. We have 3 cups of flour that I've already put in here. And to that, we're going to put 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then we have whatever flavoring you want. And you can go into your cupboard and pull out whatever seeds you have in there. You know, caraway, salt, doesn't matter. Well, what I have is 21 seasoned salute. There's a lot in here. So I've got about a heaping tablespoon of that, and we're going to mix that right into the dough. We're also going to put some things on top later. So I'm just going to mix that up a little bit so you can see the speckles in there. So we're going to have a lot of the seasoning right in the dough itself, in the cracker. Now to that we have 2 wet ingredients. First of all, we're going to put a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Now I know, but that's what makes a cracker and not bread. It's got oil in it, in case you didn't know that. So we're going to put a 1/4 cup of oil in there, and we're going to put a cup of water in there. Like that, and we're going to mix it up. And we're going to use a fork to do that. Didn't have a fork here, so we're just going to mix that together, just like bread, and it'll become a dough. And you can see it's starting to absorb all the flour. And you know, you don't have to have every single bit of flour absorbed, but you want to just move it around in there until most of the flour is absorbed. So when you got most of it absorbed, boy, I can smell those 21 flavors coming out of there. We're just going to pour it out on the counter, and we're going to do a slight kneading. Now, unlike bread, you need bread need bread for a long time. The crackers, not so much. But we need to knead it enough just to incorporate all the little bits of dough. And then we're going to roll it out. And so just knead this for a little bit. We're just kneading it to pull it together as a ball, and getting most of the flour on the counter mixed in. You don't have to get it all in. Now, we're going to do half of this at a time just to make it a little more controllable. So I'm going to take one of my scrapers here that I've told you a number of times you need one because you use them all the time. And we're just going to break it in half, and we're going to put 1/2 back in the bowl, and we're going to roll out the other half. Now I'm going to just put a little flour on top of that and on the bottom just to make it easier to roll out. Got my rolling pin here, and we're just going to start to roll. And just nice and easy at first. Now obviously we're going to make this pretty thin because they are crackers and not a roll. And so we're just going to start. And so I'm going to just keep rolling this out a little bit and come back in a few minutes when I'm done, and we'll continue on. So we have everything mixed together, and I've started the next step. But girls, what are the next steps in the process?
Rolling, cutting, and baking.
3 things. So come on over. Now you can see here that I've already rolled. Now we're not going to be too precise here. I've just got this rolled out, and because it has oil in it, it's not sticking very much, which is nice. And you can see it's pretty thin. That's what we want. We want thin crackers. And so we're going to cut this, and you can cut them in big pieces, you can cut them in little pieces, you can cut them in strips or rounds or whatever you want, because, hey, you're making the crackers. And so I'm going to very lightly use this cutter and just cut across here like this, and I'm going to make some big crackers because we like big crackers. Just like that. And I'll do it on the other side. And then I'm going to go the other direction, and I'll probably do it in thirds. Just like that. Okay, so now we have a baking sheet, and the baking sheet has a silicone liner, which I've mentioned a number of times. I use it all the time. You really need one. And so we're just gonna very carefully, see they come off very easy, we're just gonna lay them on the silicone mat, just like that. And we'll peel them up, very thin, should make good crackers. Peel them up. Position them on the baking sheet. I may not get them all on there, but that's okay. I'll get most of them on there. A couple more. And we're going to do a couple of other things before we bake it. All right. Now, we have my fork that I mixed up with, and we're going to do what they call docking. And that means we're going to poke some little holes in it so that when we bake them, they don't kind of puff up with bubbles. So just go around and poke little holes in each one. You know, you don't have to have a lot. Just kind of go back and forth, docking them like this. Little puncture holes. We do this on pie dough as well if we're just baking a pie shell so it doesn't puff up. And sometimes when I'm making pizza, I do it too if I'm making the crust before I put the stuff on top. It's a very common practice. So we're almost done here. One more. All right. Now, to make them extra good, we're going to coat each one with a little olive oil, just like this. That'll give them a nice shine, and it'll make them a little crispier on top. We also do this on a number of other things as well. Make focaccia bread, you put oil on top to make it a little crusty. Makes it really good. It's a secret that a lot of Italian chefs use. Okay, so we've got a nice layer of olive oil and everything. Now on the top of ours, I have a special request from my wife to have sesame seeds. And so we're going to put some sesame seeds on top, and because it's got that oil on it, it sticks very easily to the dough. So I'll do that. Also looks pretty. And I'm going to put a little salt on because it just gives it a little extra flavor. And you don't have to worry if the seeds go off on the side like that, they'll be fine. Now I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to put it in for 12 minutes. And halfway through, we're going to shift the pan around, and we may let it go to 14, we'll see. So I'll set the timer, we'll come back halfway through and we'll shift the pan around, okay? We'll see in a few minutes. Okay, the crackers have been in the oven for 6 minutes, and now I'm going to rotate the pan just to make sure they're baking evenly. And so all I'm going to do is take this and turn the pan 180 degrees and close the oven and wait another 6 minutes, and they should be done. So be back in 6 minutes. Okay, I let the crackers go for about 13 minutes, and so I'm going to take them out now and bring them over here to the stove. And there they are. And I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to just simply transfer them over to this little wire rack and let them cool before we have our taste test. Now after I'm done here, I'm going to do this was half of a batch. I'll do the other half of a batch after we're done, but we'll let them cool for, I don't know, 5 minutes before we do the taste test with my lovely assistants. And you know, the shape of them doesn't matter. These things are great to have alone or with cheese or sliced meat or whatever you want to put on them. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes after they're cooled down and we'll do our taste test. All right, the crackers have been baked. They're cool. There's only one thing left to do, girls, and what is that?
Taste test.
The taste test. So, girls, let's each grab a cracker here. And let's try them out. Let's give it a try. Good. These have 21 flavors in there. That's great. These things last quite a while. They're crackers after all. And so actually after a day or two they get better and better. They get crispier. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining us today, and make sure if you like the video to give us a thumbs up, click on the subscribe and click on the bell, and you'll be notified every time we post a new video. So girls, Peppy, you and I, let's go in the other room and finish eating. Thanks for joining us.